What's going on, everybody? James here, RedoptionAgency.com. 23 years selling full-time on eBay, and I thought I would do something a little different today. Being it's March 31st, that means first quarter is done at midnight. First 3 months of the year is done. Where are you sitting? How have you done? Are you living up to your expectations? What is your goal for the year? Well, here's how you get started on setting yourself up to make your goals to succeed. So, I'm going to bring up my media store first and foremost. Go into performance, go into sales, put it on this year, and look at your numbers. So, this year, in the first quarter, total sales of $40,914. That's down 29%, but that's because at this time last year I did not have a second store. So I moved all the hats, clothing, shoes over to the second store. So we've got to add the second store onto this. So if we go to the second store, we've got $25,745. So we added that together and we times it by 4, which brings my total, my yearly projection as it stands right now, at $266,633. And that's probably going to be on par for last year's numbers. With everything added in, I think I did 295, I believe it was. So that's with YouTube added in and Poshmark at the time and stuff like that. So my goal is to get over that 300,000 mark. So technically, I am going to be 34,000 short of where I want to be roughly. So how am I going to make that difference up? Well, I have to change something, right? If you break it down into quarters for the year, what are you going to do different in the second quarter if you want to make more money? I personally think that the way I'm going is the correct way, the way I've been doing in the last, I want to say 3 weeks or so, the way I got everything set up, the way I'm just pushing through things, and the way I'm keeping track of everything. So I'm keeping myself motivated every day. I think doing that, along with hopefully some good yard sale finds this summer, and then also pulling all the stuff out of storage that I'm pulling, I think is going to eventually push me over the 300,000 mark. That's where we're hoping. So, where are you at? So do the same with your store and see if that's fitting into your projections. See if that's your, and set yourself a goal if you haven't set one already. Let's see what other numbers we can look at here. Costs. I want to stay 50 or under. Right now I'm at 52.3 for the first quarter on the media store. Not happy about that, but I'm pretty sure my offsites just came out, but still. Yeah, it's a little higher than what I want it to be. And I was hoping that doing more and more multi-piece orders was gonna bring that number down. So that's going to be a number I'm going to have to work on. I'd like to bring it down a little 3% or so. So what do I do? Do I raise my shipping a little bit? I got to think about this one and figure out how to do it. Let me see what it is on the other one. So over here, we're 49.5. So we're under the 50% mark over here. So yeah, about 3%. I want to bring that down. And that could just be looking at my offsite ads. I know I just bumped them up to see if that's working or not. If that's not working, I can bring that back down. Yeah. You can also do this with the items you're selling. If you sell a lot of a certain thing, you can also do it. Look how much you've sold this quarter. So like with me, my number one item over here obviously is CDs. And I sold $15,802 worth of CDs this year so far. 2.49. All right, so we take that and times it by 4, and that's on track to do $63,000 worth of CD sales this year. So if you wanted to concentrate on a certain item because you know you can get a lot of it, you can list it quick. You can tweak the way you do things to elevate your long-term goal, your overall goal. You can pick one of these categories that you're selling really well and push yourself harder on just that one category. Like if I got 63,000 and I go, okay, I want $70,000 in CDs this year, right? Well, that's $7,000 more into my goal to hit that $300,000 mark. Then you can do it same for the second one. Second one, I've got cassettes at $6,968. Times that by 4. On track to do almost $28,000 in cassettes this year. Okay, I want to push $35,000. I have the product in storage to do it. Do you see what I'm saying? So set those little goals like that, and that's going to help you achieve your big goal. Vinyl records, $68.72, $6,872. Times that by 4, $27,488. This one's going to be a little tricky for me because I had such a great find last summer with that big vinyl haul, right? So my concern this year for my vinyl, because all my vinyl, I don't have vinyl in storage because that's one thing I didn't want to leave in storage over time. I just wanted to get all the vinyl up. So my biggest downfall this year, if I don't find vinyl this summer, is going to be keeping up with my vinyl. So that's another thing you can do too. Pick out your worst, the category you think you're going to perform worst with this year, and the reasonings why. Like I just stated with mine with vinyl. So how can I offset that? Because if I go up 3,000 a piece in the other two, but I drop 6,000 in vinyl at the end of the year, then that's a wash. I didn't do anything above and beyond last year. You see what I'm saying? So I've got to figure out my vinyl numbers for this year. Everything else is going to be pretty much the same because I have so much of it. Vinyl is my low point if I don't find another huge collection this year. I do have like 2 boxes of vinyl still to list, 1 box being that part of that lot, but that's not going to be enough to sustain me for the full year, I don't believe. And that's up 191% from the year before. So that kind of shows you the difference that score made in the middle of summer. 191% from this time last year. Whereas CDs, 64 or 65% up. And I think that's going to have to do with the fact that I started the buy two, get two free. And that brought in a lot more customers, made a lot more sales, and drove that number up. Cassettes also, up 26% on the cassettes. DVDs, I think DVDs is probably the category I could grow the biggest because I don't have many DVDs up, but I have tons of it in storage. Like if I went to my store now and typed in DVD, I only got 2,800 DVDs up. Compare that to CDs at 17,000. cassettes at 10,000 plus. I got next to nothing in DVDs listed, but I have probably just as many in storage as I do cassettes and CDs. So I think DVDs could be my big offset if I don't find any good vinyl. The only problem is I would have to do a lot more because the DVDs are lower value than the vinyl I sold in the first quarter. But the upswing to that is the DVDs will be quicker to list. So I could probably list 3-4 DVDs compared to one vinyl record. And that comes down to the pictures taken. So with the pictures, I pull the vinyl, take the picture, pull the vinyl out, take a picture, put it back in, and that takes time. With DVDs, I can either use the stock pictures, but I stopped doing that, and I just take 2 pictures front and back and be done with it. So the system I have created would allow me to list more of those quicker. So, and then with the buy 2 get 2, would it elevate just as much as the cassettes and CDs did? So kind of a game plan to the second quarter of the year for me over here. So hopefully me laying this out for you will give you ideas on how to look at your scenario and your situation. And hopefully you've got some of those foundation items. Like I said before, I've said a million times, foundation items are the items that not just bread and butter, but you can get an abundance of, and you can list them quick, you can ship them quick, and they just fit that category on, well, if I'm not finding X, Y, Z of my high dollar items, let me go into foundation mode and list these items, because I can get a lot of them and I can get them quick and I can get them listed quick, get them packaged up quick. And so when if you're not pushing your main item or your main items, find those foundation items that you can push and grow over the year. Because even if you started at ground zero on something right now and you slowly grew that foundation item for the rest of the year on days where maybe you're tapped out on the other stuff, it's going to show at the end of the year. It's going to add up. Simplest terms there, it's going to add up. So yeah, let me go over here to the clothing store, and of course my biggest item over here is men's hats, $9,906. So that's going to be pushing $40,000 for the year, which is a whole lot lower than it used to be. Like 1 year alone, I did $120,000 just in hats. The first year I started, or it could have been the second year, when nobody else was doing them, not compared to today, I grossed $120,000 in hats. So going to be nowhere near that, and that was with a lot less hats too. But now there's millions on eBay compared to 100,000 when I started. But this is a category I can saturate. I can increase my percentage listed on, because I have a lot of them in storage and I can get them any day of the week in abundance. The next one is one that I definitely need to hit on harder, and could probably be my biggest upgrade in my clothing store, and that's t-shirts. It's usually my second highest in the clothing store, but I don't put a lot of effort into it. So we're looking at just under $9,000 in t-shirts for the year. which probably compared to last year is probably low. Let me see if it's even registering over here. Probably not. No, it wouldn't, because I had none in here this year. I was going to try to look and see what I did in t-shirts last year. Let me go last year, generate, and t-shirts last year. I've got to take off this international thing or it won't populate. Oh, it actually would be up last year in t-shirts. Well, no, I can't say that because this is only part of last year. The other part would be over in the other store. So so we're looking at 9,000. So let's do 5924. And then come over here for last year. And t-shirts was number 1 over here. Yeah, so we done a little over 11,000 in t-shirts last year. So just under 9 predicted for this year. So that's probably the one I could really ramp up in this store to help make that goal. Yep. What was the total over here? What was it? 166 I said for projected for this year. Last year was just eBay alone was 259. So that would be up a little bit. So, but like I had last year though, I had a lot of Vendu affiliates. Sold a lot of the cards you guys bought from me, the reseller cards. So that's another thing I need to work on is series 2 of that. What else did I have? Made a lot of money with the Giro pack also last year. So, and then a little bit on Poshmark too. So that's what pushed me up right about 295 last year. So, and YouTube of course. So yeah, it'd be nice to get over 300,000 this year. Let me check YouTube and see if I can compare that to last year's numbers. So this year so far on YouTube, 1992. If we times that by 4, we're looking at just about $8,000 on YouTube. So let's see what I did last year. I could have just typed that in. Duh. So last year on YouTube, $7,145. So on track to do, about $800 more, which ain't much. So this is another area that maybe I could drive up a little bit. But $800 over on YouTube is a lot harder for me than $800 on eBay. So bringing that number, higher than 800 would definitely take a lot more thinking and video design, if you will, on creating something that will garner, the views. So yeah, so that's another thought on it. That is kind of cool though, $8,000 on YouTube in a year. And there's no cost attached to this except the time you put into it. So that's the beauty of it. That's why so many people, push out YouTube content the way they do. We're 48% more than October through December. So 48% more money than fourth quarter of last year. So yeah, that's where my head's thinking today. So figuring out what to push harder on, what to focus in on, and in order to make that goal. So all right, definitely need to get back over 300,000. So all right, I think that's all for me. Yeah, I think that's all. All right, hopefully this helped you guys in some way or not or another. It's going to help me get some thoughts processing. So that's what it's all about. All right, thanks everybody, and I will see you all in the next video. Later.